Is a spoiler warning still appropriate if the show last aired in 2016? I'll say it anyways. Spoiler warning for season 1 and 2 of Gravity Falls. Certified con artist, he is Mr. Krabs reincarnated. I introduce to you Gravity Falls' Grunkle Stan.
Boom! And then there was our great Uncle Stan, that guy.
A man whose reputation precedes him as a dirty, cheating, crime-committing, pug-smuggling, tax-frauding old man, at least according to the residents of Gravity Falls. And truth be told, they wouldn't be entirely wrong. Yet, despite all his negative traits, Grunkle Stan possesses a heart of gold. By day, he scams the people and tourists of Gravity Falls with his fake, mysterious attractions. But by night, he's a shadowy figure sneaking around, unlocking a secret door behind his vending machine, concealing his own significant secrets. Who is Grunkle Stan truly? What drives him? What are his beliefs, motivation, and fears? In this video, we'll be doing a deep dive analysis into Grunkle Stan's psychology. Brought up in New Jersey, raised by a strict father and pathological liar of a mother, his closest bond was with his genius twin brother, Stanford, also known as Ford. The two were inseparable and even had dreams of sailing around the world on a boat they had built as children. But that all changed in high school when Ford's genius gave him the opportunity to apply at a prestigious university. And because Stan wasn't as gifted, he was ignored and casted aside. This caused a strain in their relationship, and it grew as Ford spoke about a future that Stan didn't fit into, causing Stan's anxiety about his own future without his brother. Ford had to create a project to showcase to the administration of this university. In the heat of anger, Stan, accidentally on purpose, broke Ford's project, costing him his dream school. This caused Stan to be shunned by his family and Ford, and in an instant, he caused his own fears to come true. Stan and Ford didn't speak for 10 years after that incident. Throughout those 10 years, Stan decided to become a scam artist to try to become rich quickly and prove his family wrong. All the scams caused him to go from identity to identity, state to state, and sometimes country to country. With no luck, Stan finds himself broke and living in his vehicles and motels a decade later, when he receives a mysterious letter from Ford asking him to come urgently. Ford had been doing pretty well for himself up until that point. Ford had to go to a less prestigious university, but despite this, he graduated and got into a PhD program 3 years ahead of schedule and was given a $100,000 grant after the completion of his thesis. He decided to use his grant money to study the mysterious anomalies in Gravity Falls. Stan is anxious when he arrives at Gravity Falls. He hadn't seen or spoken to Ford for a decade. Unfortunately, the reunion was not what Stan was hoping for. Ford greeted Stan with a bit of hostility. Ford starts rambling about Stan being the only one that he could trust, confusing the hell out of Stan. What Stan doesn't know and Ford does not explain well is that Ford and one of his friends, McGucket, built a device that could bring about the end of the world. And Bill Cipher, the villain, tricks Ford into building it and is trying to get into Ford's head, causing him to trust no one. From Stan's perspective, he hadn't seen or spoken to his twin brother in 10 years. And when Ford finally reaches out to Stan, he basically tells him to go away again. Ford told Stan to take one of his journals, because his journals have instructions on how to activate the machine, and go far away in that boat that they had made together as kids. This triggered Stan and caused them to get into an argument and physical altercation, which activates the machine and causes Ford to accidentally get sucked into the portal. The power of the machine was too strong, causing it to break and causing Stan to lose his brother once again. Consumed by guilt and determination, Stan takes Ford's identity and stays in Gravity Falls and does what he knows best: scams the residents of Gravity Falls in order to maintain his brother's mortgage and tirelessly working to bring him home. His self-loathing mixed with unwavering love for his brother drives him to devote 30 years to repair the machine and bring about Ford's return. It's interesting to see history basically repeating itself again with Stan and Ford. With Stan and Ford. In both times they got separated, and Stan was the cause, jeopardizing his brother, accidentally on purpose, although this time they were both in the wrong. Stan felt abandoned by Ford, and Ford seemingly cared more about his future than Stan. But this time, instead of leaving, Stan stayed and fought to get Ford back, no matter how long it took. He just loves him so much. Grunkle Stan's. Grunkle Stan's psychology can be illuminated through the lens of his personality traits, which is a range of characteristics, including courage, impulsivity, stubbornness, sensitivity, greed, cunning, roughness, and a penchant for criminal behavior, all underscored by his profound love for his family. While these traits offer insights into his character, understanding his behaviors and decisions require delving deeper into his background. Looking at Stan's background, it makes sense why he turned out the way he did. He was kicked out at a young age and lost his family and needed to prove to them and himself that he could make it on his own and that his brother wasn't the only brother in the family that had the potential to be great. When examining Stan's personality type, ESTP or entrepreneur personality type resonates perfectly. ESTPs are energetic, action-oriented individuals who adeptly navigate challenges. Stan's boldness, practicality, perceptiveness, directness, and sociability align closely with the traits of an ESTP. However, his personality also exhibits weakness typical to his type, such as insensitivity, impatience, impulsivity, tendency to overlook the big picture. These traits manifested in pivotal moments, leading to consequences such as jeopardizing Ford's dreams and pushing him accidentally into the portal. Yet, it was Stan's inherent strengths that ultimately facilitated Ford's return and had him sacrifice himself to confront Bill Cipher for the safety of his family. Stan's motivation stems from extrinsic factors driven by pursuits of rewards beyond immediate gratification. Each deceitful action, each lie told to loved ones or authorities, each maneuver took a toll on Stan's consciousness. However, his goal of reuniting with Ford motivated his actions.
You ignoramus! Your brother was going to be our ticket out of this dump!
That's what Stan's father said as he kicked him out. At a young age, Stan loved Ford and believed it was them against the world. But as they grew up, decisions were made and mistakes were made. Stan was always outspoken, carefree, and impulsive. But after he was kicked out, abandoned, and isolated by his family and Ford, he was angry, desperate, and trying to prove a point to the world that he wasn't destined to fail at life. When Ford was beginning to speak about a future that didn't really include Stan, Stan got anxious and angry with the possibility of being left behind by his brother. But ultimately, because of his actions, his biggest fears came true. Because Stan focused on getting rich quickly and seemingly had little to no book smarts, he relied on his street smarts and became a con artist. At the time he lost Ford to the portal, he relied on those skills to not only save his brother, but keep the memory of him alive. Stan even staged his own death, perhaps as a symbolic act of shedding his past identity and embracing a new one, reflecting his inner turmoil. Sounding like a whole college essay. However, Ford's return reignited unresolved tensions, deepening their relationship into a mess of hostility and resentment. Stan's hypersensitivity to Ford's perceived abandonment and a decade of estrangement, did I say that right? Estrangement, yes I did, left emotional scars, straining their interactions. It was only when Dipper and Mabel's life was threatened by Bill Cipher that Stan was compelled to reassess his priorities. In a defining moment of selflessness, Stan made the ultimate sacrifice to defeat Bill Cipher by leaning onto his strengths of being deceitful. That was when Stan finally discovered a sense of purpose and direction that he had long sought for. Through this act, he accepted his past mistakes and embraced redemption. Stan's journey highlights the transformative power of love, resilience, and sacrifice, illuminating the complexity of human nature and the enduring bonds of family. Reflecting on Stan's journey throughout the series reveals the narrative of a man plagued by doubt and regret, yet ultimately finding redemption and purpose. From a young age, Stan faced disbelief, abandonment, struggling to believe in himself in a world that seemed to be against him. Losing his brother only deepened the sense of isolation and uncertainty, forcing him to go on a difficult journey for identity and meaning. It took nearly 6 decades for Stan to uncover his purpose. Dipper and Mabel helped Stan find solace and belonging within his newfound family. Reconciliation with Ford eventually brought closure and healing to their fractured relationship, allowing them to fulfill their childhood dream of sailing the world together. Stan's search for purpose, initially tied to his brother, ultimately led him to discover that his true fulfillment laid in the love and connection he shared with his family. In the end, Stan's story is one of resilience, love, and redemption. If you made it this far to the video, thanks for being here. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you thought about Stan's life. If you have anything to add, I would love to hear it. Okay, bye. Toodaloo.